So if you can go in there, it might be the best time in your lifetime that you can visit those very popular hikes and iconic landmarks and have them almost to yourself.
We're Ruddy and Nancy. Late 2019, we quit our jobs and started traveling full-time. We bought a car in Greece and started heading north, reaching as far northern Norway by early March 2020. We were huddled up there in a cabin watching the northern lights when the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic. Ever since then, we've been following travel restrictions, trying to get back south to Greece. We spent months around Norway exploring the amazing nature, and on June 15th, most EU countries opened up their borders and we were clear to start the trip back south through Europe. A lot of people in the tourism industry are hurting, and now that governments are lifting travel restrictions, many people want to start traveling again. We're going to film our experience crossing Europe to get back to Greece so you can see for yourself what European travel and border crossings look like in the new normal. First up, Norway. This is vlog number 20, and we are going to do things a little differently today. We're in Croatia, just having left Norway a few days ago. We obviously got a pretty unique insight into what Norway is like for tourism during the pandemic. So we decided that we'd share what it's like with you guys.
So we're gonna cover a few key points as to who can enter Norway right now given their regulations, what the general pandemic regulations are, and how you should behave, what life is like overall, what you can or cannot do, the attractions, the restaurants, hospitality, accommodation, so on and so forth. And lastly, we're gonna talk a little bit about what our experience was like during those 3 months we were stuck in Norway.
Basically, Norway at the moment has only opened up its borders to travelers from other Nordic countries. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, so we're going to put them on the screen somewhere. Obviously, this excludes Sweden. You can transit through Sweden to get into Norway, but if you stay overnight, then you're required to quarantine once you arrive in Norway.
For 10 days.
For 10 days. So on July 20th, Norway are going to review the restrictions on citizens of other EU countries, but if you're from outside of the EU, unfortunately you're probably going to have to wait a bit longer than that.
Chances are that this summer you won't be visiting Norway if you're from the US.
UK.
Chances are that the UK is not going to be allowed in, and all other countries outside of that probably won't be allowed. At least till August 20th, from what we have read thus far. Number two. So when it comes to regulations and rules regarding the pandemic, Norway is very chill. Effectively, it boils down to two things: social distancing and hand hygiene. So number one, you're expected to keep your distance of at least 1 meter from others in public spaces, and you will see stickers and guidelines everywhere in all public spaces. And number two, most places will have hand sanitizer upon entering, and you are expected to actually clean your hands before you go into the supermarket, into a bar or a restaurant. And that's pretty much about it. When it comes to masks, we haven't seen effectively any Norwegians wearing them. We don't know what hospitals might be like, but apart from that, all other areas are pretty much mask free.
Even at the height of the pandemic, I think we saw like 3 people maybe.
They were pretty chill. Number three.
So what's life like in Norway once you get there? So we were obviously tourists during the whole pandemic, and I'm not going to talk about March and April because obviously they were pretty high tension for everyone. But after April, we started heading south through Norway and saw a lot of the major cities. And I have to say, I don't remember getting any weird looks. Nobody thought it was abnormal that you were speaking English. I felt entirely welcomed.
Yeah, again, they were very chill about the whole thing. We only had one situation where we were denied accommodation, but that was during the height of the pandemic. And since then, accommodation is open, museums, theme parks, bars, cafes, restaurants, everything is operating mostly normally. although in reduced capacity. So a lot of stores you will go to have a maximum occupancy right now, so you may be asked to wait out in a line before entering the store. And most cafes and restaurants have reduced seating, but that's about it. Everything else operates pretty normally.
You still see a lot of people, especially on a nice day, out like having a drink by the water, or it's
You wouldn't know
lovely.
there was a pandemic. Like, people are chill.
So I'd say probably one of the strangest things is the elbow bump, right? Like you're not supposed to shake hands.
There will be no handshaking. Don't extend your bloody hand out and expect someone to shake it. Go for the elbow.
So to close out, basically, if you can get into Norway this summer, then I think it's a great time to visit. Like, we hiked to Prekestollen and we had the whole thing to ourselves for 20 minutes.
Yeah, same for Herak Bolton, and we couldn't do Trolltunga, but because there was too much snow. But I'm guessing that you could do Trolltunga and still have it to yourself. Well, typically you have lines of like dozens or hundreds of people like crowding the whole place. So if you can go in there, it might be the best time in your lifetime that you can visit those very popular hikes and iconic landmarks and have them almost to yourself. So if you're an outdoorsy person, this is your time.
It's probably a pretty responsible holiday to do as well. I mean, Norway has so much to offer in the outdoors, and it's a way that you can easily social distance from people while still checking out the country.
To sum up, if you're from one of the Scandinavian countries, except for Sweden, you can easily enter and you will have a mostly normal touristic experience. And if you're into outdoorsy stuff, it's the perfect time to go into Norway right now.
We still have many countries to go. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see what tourism looks like in Europe now.